Hello everyone and welcome to the final installment in the Weeknd reviews. And before we jump into this huge video that I have spent a lot of time on, I just want to ask you guys, whose discography should we look at next? Now that we've completed the Weeknd reviews, whose discography should we take a closer look at and go from album to album to album, very much like we did with The Weeknd. Also, before we begin, I just want to give a big thank you for you guys and for whoever's watching. It's easy to kind of just focus on the negative aspects of YouTube and just like certain things, but I really wanted to start this video off on a positive note and just say thank you. I'm very grateful for what I do have. And I also want to give a big shout out to Keith Legion from Decoded, who went from being featured on these Weeknd reviews to actually becoming a part of them. I am very thankful for that. And anyway guys, I just want to thank you for watching. I get to, say thanks on subscriber videos and updates, but I wanted to say thanks here on a bigger video like this. Anyway guys, with that being said, it's time for our review of Beauty Behind the Madness. Hello everyone and welcome to Solshow. My name is Sol, and after reviewing 43 tracks, 3 mixtapes, and 2 albums, we have finally reached the promised land. We have reached Beauty Behind the Madness. So after the release of Kissland, The Weeknd tried doing the whole album thing, going pop, going mainstream. He tried it all again. Only this time, before this album even dropped, you could see there was going to be some changes for this artist. Unlike The Weeknd's previous projects, this wasn't just 10 tracks and that's it. Also, there was to be a lot of featured artists who were going to show up other than Drake, who is the only person up to this point who had ever been featured on a Weeknd project. And I wonder why Drake wasn't featured on this album. Hold on, let's Google this real quick. Oh, okay. We got some beef there. Okay. So I don't think we're gonna get a Drake feature this time around. Okay. Anyway. Also, before this album dropped, The Weeknd released a couple of singles, and they clearly showed that he was going for a much more pop-driven album this time around. Of course, his R&B singing and just the high-pitched voice, that wasn't like this huge far stretch from the pop world, but at the same time, he always had his alternative side. He had a distinct darkness that separated him from that crowd, but he's officially gone pop. And no, nobody kills himself this time around. There's no gangbanging on a single chick this time around. None of that. We don't get that dark. And some would say The Weeknd sold out on Beauty Behind the Madness and yada yada yada. Can't feel my face, yada yada yada. These are what the YouTube comments tell me anyway. But the thing is, when I hear this argument that so-and-so sold out and I liked them before they blew up, when I hear this, the only reason I would care if the artist grew to this bigger stage is if they compromised their character, who they were, what kind of stuff they were presenting themselves as, and if they compromised the sound and like made a new sound that I just didn't like nearly as much as the old sound. So kinda like he did on Kissland, so he kinda already sold out and went pop, but whatever. And yes, following the releases of Can't Feel My Face, The Hills, The Weeknd finally blew up and made it big, officially, yay! I even jumped on the bandwagon at this point in time. Rock that haircut, man. Rock that fire. And we'll get to sound and whether The Weeknd compromised his sound, but for right now I just want to stick to character, and I want to say The Weeknd does not give up a single ounce of his character for this album. In fact, his character and the storytelling is amplified. Whereas with House of Balloons, I really felt all his character was, he was just a sad guy wandering through this never-ending party. The party just didn't seem to end, and he was so deprived, and it was just very sad. But now, at this point in time, The Weeknd is a three-dimensional character, complete with a backstory, more complex emotions than, just being sad. And honestly, a lot of times when these artists do blow up, they gotta change their character to, pander to a wider audience that will make everyone happy. But no, I don't believe The Weeknd did that. His character is the same old Weeknd, and if anything, he has more going on for himself. He, without any fucks given, throws out lines about coke, drugs, and considering Can't Feel My Face is a drug anthem, and his other singles that were, so radio friendly, they were dropping lines such as, "Baby, I can make that pussy rain," and, "I just fucked 2 bitches before I saw you." And so no, I don't think The Weeknd was pandering that much for the radio. And one thing I want to say real quick, lines like "make that pussy rain" and the hook for "Acquainted," these lines are corny as hell. But unless you're Prince singing like "Pussy Control," oh my god, I wrote that before he died, you're not gonna get away with these kind of lines. The Weeknd has a certain style and a certain voice, and he makes this really corny stuff actually seem good, which is a feat in itself. And in this album, his character is actually incorporating more of his real life persona. And real quick, I gotta say, people ask me, oh, how can you like a guy like The Weeknd? How can you enjoy his music? I can, because he's playing a persona. In the words of Tyler, the Creator, it's fucking fiction. But in Beauty Behind the Madness, he's leaking in a lot more of his real life into this album. For instance, on Tell Your Friends, The Weeknd has just a beautiful line saying, "I'm that nigga with the hair singing about popping pills, fucking bitches." And just so we're clear, this is the same guy who for a while nobody knew what he even looked like. He wouldn't do an interview or anything like that. And now on this album, here he is out in the spotlight being super self-aware. And in the same track, he says, "My cousin said I made it big and it's unusual. She tried to take a selfie at my grandma's funeral." Wait, this character goes to funerals? And he has cousins? And grandmothers like normal people? I thought at the very most he'd be related to some kind of palm tree. At the very most. And that's as far as his character goes in this album. I very much enjoy his character, but what about the sound? How has that changed? Well, Can't Feel My Face is a straight up pop song, and well, The Weeknd can handle a pop song. The instrumental, the hook, that section of the track where the groove just gets all atmospheric and it slows down and his voice has all this space. That's a trend you'll see a lot in this album, but I very much liked all of that. I love it all. Okay, who is that guy? He looks like the reincarnation of Satan. Oh, okay, so that's Satan. Him throwing the lighter is supposed to be him giving The Weeknd popularity, hence signaling the burst in the crowd. Okay. Oh, and this music video is to his popularity-driven, soul-selling song. Oh, that's clever. That's clever. Well, if that's all it takes, then hello, Satan. And with that, guys, I'd like to segue into an announcement that every review from now on will feature 666% more Illuminatic satanic imagery and symbolism. And oh, okay, he just shot him. He's dead. Well, fuck. Well, in that case, later, Satan. Feel free to DM me in hell if you ever want to collab. Anyway, with the next single, The Hills, as of the time I'm writing this single is still on the Billboard Top 50 a year after it's been released. It was also one of few tracks that pushed an artist from debunking his #1 song. So Can't Feel My Face, which was #1 at the time, went #2 because The Hills overpassed it. So The Weeknd can stand beside the Beatles as one of few artists who had the top 2 slots on the chart. And I don't know what else to say about this track other than I think it might be my favorite track by The Weeknd. And I've heard just about all the criticism for this track. For instance, I've heard that this track is boring. boring. Okay, entitled to your opinions, but a note worth mentioning. A track like Can't Feel My Face, that could have been given to a number of artists who could have pulled it off. But tracks like Often, The Hills, I don't think many artists could have given them justice, but The Weeknd does. And in The Hills, during the verses, The Weeknd's voice, it's like a drunken, deprived slur of just bitter emotions. It's a style he's never done before. And there isn't a super coherent story to this track, but what I like to see in my head is basically The Weeknd, he is out on a late night booty call for a girl he hasn't even met yet, and it's really just falling on its face and hitting a wall before it even takes off. And personally, I always thought of The Weeknd's character as a villain, albeit one who likes to be really sad sometimes and really likes to show he has the best intentions, but still a villain. And maybe that's just why I enjoyed him like callously throwing an attitude and giving the best line in the album, which is, and even though The Weeknd doesn't actually learn from this situation, I think the point of his character is he doesn't ever learn, I do feel his character finally not getting what he wanted and feeling a new kind of heartbreak, one he's only given, never received until now. I really felt like that was his character coming full circle. Of course, that's me grabbing at straws, but fuck it, my review. Subjectivity! Anyway, just gonna speed run some tracks. We have In the Night. I love the shit out of this track. From just the fact that I can't ever not hear the words Michael Jackson in the back of my mind whenever it plays, all the way to its huge, grand hook. He could have been saying anything during this hook, and I would have been like, dude, yeah. Just, yeah. I love In the Night. Then we have Earned It. And, I know my buddy Keith Legion hates this track. And I remember hearing clips of the song, the terrible hook, that voice, that really nasally, whiny pitch that The Weeknd sometimes had. He had it in this song. That absurd music video. The fact that it's on the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack, I was ready to tear into this track for my review. And, well, upon further listens, I don't think I hate this track. I think it's okay, if not pretty good. I'm sorry, Keith. But if we are talking least favorite tracks, I'm gonna have to say mine is As You Are, which was just kind of boring and didn't have a lot going on for it. I think it was just kind of filler, a dud, if you will, especially alongside so much other more interesting tracks. Tracks such as Shameless, an acoustic style song. Oh my god, that guitar solo. And not acoustic like a white guy on an acoustic guitar trying to seduce you kind of acoustic, more like a acoustic kind of black guy telling you he's going to basically fuck you. Yeah, and I heard it, like the rest of this album, is great for lovemaking. It's great lovemaking music. Of course, nobody loves me, so I naturally jacked off to it. What? But yeah, it's a great song. And then we have Acquainted. I thought Acquainted was really just an average song at first. Pretty much every review I watched for this album listed Acquainted as their least favorite track. Originally packaged as Girls Born in the 90s, this track had lyrics like, and so I was like, okay, if this is the girl from the rest of the album, I think it would make sense that he fell in love at this point. That's not super new. He does have like some love and some feelings towards some of these women. So I was like, okay, we have a legitimate love song, okay. He even assured us, he had a line, you probably think I'm lying, so just putting it out there. He pretty much said, I'm not lying, I assure you. So he couldn't have been full of shit, right? He's not full of shit, right? Nope. You sociopathic fuck, Weeknd. When the outro of this song hit, I was like, okay, I think he was full of shit the entire time. And then I really thought about it. Acquainted. That's like being friend-zoned, but like extra friend-zoned. So that whole time I thought it was a love song, but The Weeknd was playing with my false emotions like the basic white bitch I am. God damn you. And just so we're clear, this guy, and I'm talking about Abel Tesfaye, not The Weeknd here, he basically can, you know, come out and say, hey, I'm gonna fuck you. I'm gonna treat you like shit. After that, I'm cutting you off. You're nothing. You're nothing. And yet women still want to be with him. All the more power to you, buddy. Make better choices. And then we have Often. I'm not gonna lie, I've listened to this track a lot. If The Weeknd were to go pop, this is the kind of song I want. It's a straight up banger, complete with The Weeknd's usual reverb and plenty of bass. And the instrumental is going on so fast, and his voice of just Often is getting replayed so much. You really get the sense that this is happening over and over again throughout the course of the song. I can't say how much I like this track, but I don't have any other words for it other than damn. And lastly, we have Angel. Basically, this was to close out the album, and he is letting this girl who he's pulled through all this shit, he's letting her go. He hopes she finds someone. It's an okay way to end the album. But we have a choir of children singing. I don't really see that as something The Weeknd should be doing. Children should not be associated with him in any shape or form, unless, you know, he's got some baby mamas. But anyway, I thought Angel was a good track. It was a good way to close the album out. And although it, like Acquainted, may have dragged on a little bit, I still was happy by the time the album ended. Final thoughts, guys. I thought this was The Weeknd's really crowning achievement. I don't know if he can do much better than this. I have faith in him, but at the same time, as much as I love something like Echoes of Silence, I don't think we're gonna get something like that again. I think we're gonna get something like this again, but I don't know if it'll be as good as this. I hope it is. I really do. But guys, I want to know your thoughts down below. Please let me know. I would love to hear your ideas, your thoughts about this project or whatever I should review next. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. We're done. We're finally done. We have no more projects to review. Finally.
Wait, what about that Noise EP?
What's that? Oh, no. No. No, no, no. You can't make me do this. I'm not reviewing anything more. Okay, guys. I'm leaving this up to you. DM me, comments, whatever you gotta do. If you want me to review it, I will. If not, I can put it towards anything else. So with that being said, on to the score. And with that being said, guys, I give The Weeknd, Beauty Behind the Madness, a 9 out of 10. The Soul Badge of Approval, and the Hall of Fame badge. As always, guys, stick around for the credits where I have links to other cool videos and reviews. Thank you for watching. Please, if you want, you can help me out by checking out my Patreon, my Twitter, all of that good stuff. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and with that, I leave you.
I've been watching time pass through the eyeglass and waking up to images that I can't seem to bypass. Yeah, I used to cut class to smoke, but now I smoke any rapper and slice at them with a cutlass. And let me bust back and teach a reasonable lesson on the best ways to cope with seasonal depression. See, my breezy recollections came from reaching effervescence and remembering my vices to repeat them level-headed. Think I need the devil's lettuce, need to get my head straight.